Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 3. My name is Michael S.K., and look at the name on the screen. Shion is back from the dead. And, well, not really from the dead, but she is here. She exists in this story. Why? I have no idea why she's coming up now. I mean, this isn't Mion's deal. I understand why Shion was kind of involved in that one. So I guess Shion's going to be reoccurring, which I'm cool with. I think she's pretty cool. But honestly, that whole family seems really fucked, and I don't want to mess with it. But yeah, welcome back. We are celebrating the big dub, and for some reason, Shion is here.
Huh?
How does this guy always pick the craziest time to say the craziest things?
前原くん、私まだ何も言ってませんよ。
Yeah, that was someone else.
何言ってんですか。今はっきりと言ったじゃないですか。
そうそう。サトコを自分専属のプリッチーなメイドにするってはっきり言いました。
ああ、それはいいですね。
Bro, please, get some help.
サトコちゃんをプリッチー。
あ、プリティとプリッチーは似てるようで微妙に違いますからね。日本のわびさびをミックスした和洋折衷の言葉なので注意してください。
なるほどな。いやー、日本語は本当奥が深いよな。
So does Keiichi just
そうそう。
know Shion? Like,
ケイちゃんはよく理解してます。
has that been
では
established
そういう
already?
ことで。
My hand shot out and grabbed Shion, smiling, waving, and about to leave by the nape of her neck.
おい待てこら、突然現れて何をとんでもないことを言ってやがるんだ。
とんでもないことって言ったら、ケイちゃんと監督がしてたサトコラブなトークの方がよっぽどとんでもないと思いましたけど、養子縁組のあたりから再現してご覧に入れます？
うわー！お前そんな時から息を潜めていやがったのか。
お姉にすらかなわないケイちゃんが私に歯向かおうなんて100年早いってことです。
Yeah, I guess this has been established. That's so weird. I wonder why, or how. Like, how does that fit in with everything? This was Shion Sonozaki, the younger of the Sonozaki twins. Though she hadn't a scrap of the reserve quality you'd expect from a little sister. She was a villain no better than her older sister Mion. Now, at least that's been established. We met the other day in town, and I dug myself into a hole when I mistook her for Mion. Unlike Mion, Shion said that she was living in Okonomiya, so I thought we'd never see each other again. But to think we actually would. My frankly displeased expression didn't change a bit either. This must be what people mean when they say something is like water off a duck's back. I've never heard that phrase before.
シオンさん、
I've never
よく
heard
来て
that.
くれましたね。来てくれないと思ってがっかりしてたんですよ。
まあ他にすることが思いつかなかったってことです。ちょっとからかいに行こうかなくらいですので。
監督、どうしてシオンが戦勝祝賀会に呼ばれなくちゃなんないんです？こいつがどうチームの勝利に貢献したっていうのか。
それはですね、実は私がHinamizawaファイターズのマネージャーだからなんです。
Nah.
マネージャー？嘘だろ？そんならなんで昨日の試合にいなかったんだよ。
マネージャーはマネージャーでも幽霊マネージャーですから。てへ。
She seemed to think I'd forgive her if she stuck her tongue out and smiled. She wasn't sorry at all.
シオンちゃんが来てくれないと試合に花がないんです。練習までとは言いませんから、試合にくらいまた昔みたいに応援に来てくれませんかね。
まあ考えておきます。ケイちゃんがHinamizawaファイターズに移籍するんなら考えてもいいかな。私かっこいい男の子がいないと応援する張り合いがないんです。
え
Don't tease her, or don't get teased by her. She's setting you up, bro. Did Shion just smoothly say something absurd?
あんたまだどこから湧いて出たの？
Suddenly, Mion came running over, latched onto my shoulders, and pulled me towards her.
あ
ちゃんの妹さんだ。しーちゃん、こんにちは。
レナさん、こんにちは。まだ1回しか会ってないのに名前を覚えてもらって光栄です。
あ、こちらこそ。レナの名前を覚えててくれてありがとう。
そんな挨拶はどうでもいいの。ケイちゃんの勧誘なんてダメだからね。ケイちゃんは我が部のホープなんだから、野球なんかに引っこ抜かないで。
Mion gave a low growl as she grappled my arm. She looked like a little girl desperately clinging to her toy.
ケイチ君はうちの部活の期待の新人なの。だからトレードとかは全然ダメなんだよ。
Why are we using sport terms? Rena's smile had a nonchalant bloodthirst. She was blocking Shion's way, ready to unleash an ultimate attack if she got within 2 meters of me. Ah, I felt like this was gonna turn into a bloody battle.
それは残念です。じゃあ交渉はまたの機会に。
あんたに交渉権なんかないの。単独なんでシオンまで呼んだわけ。シオンは丸1年もサボってる幽霊部員じゃない。
シオンちゃんがいると賑やかになって楽しいかなって思ったんですけどね。
I mean, it is entertaining, don't get me wrong.
実に賑やかになりました。
That was what he planned for all along. Mission accomplished.
ほらケイちゃんおいでおいで。みんなでゲームやるよ。もちろん罰ゲーム付きでね。
Ah, of course. Beware, there weren't any strings attached.
ルールは簡単だし楽しいよ。
どうしようかな。私が参加すると勝っちゃいますから。お姉の部長としての面目を潰しちゃうと悪いですし。
Mio, now irritated, turned around with a glare.
なんですお姉。私も一緒に参加して姉妹対決にした方がいいですか。多分やめといた方がお姉のためだと思いますけど。
Remember when Mion killed Shion?
あっがべー。シオンなんか混ぜてやらない。仲間外れべーだ。
Whoa, Mion just avoided a direct confrontation. It seemed like the twins were completely incompatible with each other. Yeah, definitely.
混ぜてあげないの？みーちゃんとの対決見たかったかな？
私シオン嫌い。あいつと戦うのは苦手なの。
An angry Mion dragged me away. Yep, goodbye.
頑張ってくださいね。ここで応援してますから。ケイちゃんファイト。おう。
Shion waved her hand at us, reveling in the bliss of teasing Mion. Alright, club activities had begun, which meant I needed to clear my mind. What was today's battle? Today's punishment game? I'd take anything on.
ほらほらケイチさん、覚悟なさいませよ。今日は徹底的に行きますわよ。
おう上等だぜ。サトコだろうと誰だろうと手加減無用でぶっ潰してやるぜ。
そこをレナは漁夫の利で優勝だよ。僕はそれに小判ザメで優勝を狙いますです。はう、リカちゃんが小判ザメみたいにペター。お持ち帰り。
よしみんな、今日は大人数だから簡単で分かりやすいゲームにしよう。今日のゲームはね。
What? Why? Why cut there? Or like, are we just like skipping this? Like, do we not need to like worry about what's happening here? I mean, if that's the case, cool. I'm all about progression. Everyone who lost the game dropped out and had to help clean up after the barbecue. Okay. Honestly, I like the slice of life and everything, but usually whenever we go into like a club deal like that, I kind of feel kind of terrible. Like I don't want to just sit here and enjoy like a little game. I want to progress. I want to get to the death and the killings and the mystery and all that. But this is okay too. Shion laughed more uproariously than anyone I'd ever heard when she saw my loser face. Okay, was my getting bombed out of the game really that funny?
いやいや、あの時のケイちゃんの顔。
I forgot to mention, my drink of choice today is not off-brand
お前ら
Gatorade.
それでも人間かよ。みたいな。
Are you done talking? Oh, nope, back to the laughter. So my drink today is actually on-brand Gatorade,
ちくしょー
which I think is
初
actually
期の
just
開始まで
Gatorade.
は作戦通りだったのにあそこでサトコとリカちゃんの裏切りさえなければ
It was going great while we had maintained a united front, but Sadako had been quicker to betray me than I her. She was just a tiny bit better than me. I wonder what the game was.
だから北条を信じちゃいけないって警告したんですよ。
Sorry, I'm still getting a drink of this on-brand Gatorade. Excuse me, Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun were unanimously wearing I told you so faces. Incidentally, these two were victims of Sadako's traps pretty early on as well.
さあ富田君たちの分まで頑張るつもりだったのにな
God damn it, let me get a fucking drink. Sorry. I'm just very thirsty. And once again, for the showdown, it didn't matter. Maybe this meant I still couldn't match up to the other club members yet.
で、部活メンバーの最下位には何か罰ゲームがあるってことになってるんじゃなかったでしたっけ？
Shion remarked as though forcing me to recall something I'd tried to forget, even for a moment.
そうだったかな
そういえば前原さん、委員長と罰ゲームを決めるときかなり熱くなってましたけど、一体何を罰ゲームにしたんですか？
さっきお姉にエンジェルモードの制服を調達してくれって頼まれたんですけど、それと何か関係あります？できる限り大きめのサイズでって言われたんですけど。
Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun were giving me these complex, indescribable looks, mixing empathy, pity, and the desire to see something scary all at once. All I could do now was laugh. Strangely enough, the more I laughed, the more I felt like it was actually funny. I lost.
あれあれ前原さんどうしちゃったんですか？笑ったり泣いたり吠えたり。
いいんです。あれは嫌がってるふりのジェスチャーなんです。罰ゲームを口実に得られる貴重な経験に興奮を隠せないだけなんです。ね
何が貴重な経験とは
I held my head in my hands in agony. My state of mind could be summed up with a 3-letter word. It was... What was it? Was it sob? What was it? Coach gently put his hands on my shoulders. Was he comforting me?
前原さん、苦境を受け入れなければならない時はですね。
No, I don't wanna yet.
厳しい指導を受けているメイドであると想像するんです。ほら、絶望的なシチュエーションがなんだか楽しそうになってきませんか？いいじゃないですか。
Can we report this guy to the police yet? Red in the face and indulging in his imagination, still holding my shoulders, Coach said, "Oh, master," and started twirling around like a ballerina. I had to wonder what kind of word associations he had going on in his head. At the very least, it was much different than what was in mine. The first thing that comes into mind when I was thinking disciplining certainly isn't maids.
富田君、岡村君、君たちの監督は実に面白いな。こんなのでよく監督が務まるな。
I'm surprised he can even function as an adult. Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun exchanged glances and answered with dry smiles. They added that he was a really nice person most of the time, which is something you'd normally say about a person like that. The coach's questionable revolutions slowed to a stop, and then his expression returned to a clear, calm one, almost making what just happened seem like an illusion. He can switch gears way too fast.
では、お片付けを続けましょう。前原さんは 力持ちみたいですからね。
Oh yeah?
プレートを水場に持って行って洗っていただけますか？
了解です。
I hoisted the dirty barbecue plates, each with slimy oil clinging to it, and looked for wash basins. These are heavy. Where are the wash basins? Over there? Figuring I should make it there before my arms gave out, I headed towards it at a trot. A lot of the adults who had been helping out were using the wash basins, so I gave up and looked for a different set. I asked them, and they told me that there were more right by the assembly hall too, so I decided to head that way. Rather than multiple basins, there was just one faucet there. I initially thought it would be too small to wash plates as big as these, but it would probably still be faster than waiting for a faucet to open up back there. I turned the faucet and water much nicer looking than it gushed forth. I put a plate under the faucet and scrubbed it with my hand to try and rub it clean. It didn't go very well.
はい。スポンジとクレンザー。
Ooh.
そんなの水だけで洗ったって無理です。
It was Shion. She threw a brand new sponge in a container filled with cleaner to me.
お、サンキュー。
そんなの洗い場に置いて大人たちに任せちゃえばいいのに。つくづくケイちゃんっていい人です。
I got the feeling that wasn't quite a compliment. I answered her with a forced smile.
シオンがひなみざわファイターズのマネージャーだったなんて驚いたぜ。そういうのはめんどくさがってやらないやつだと思ってた。
ええ、めんどくさいですよ。ですから今は完全に幽霊ですけどね。
監督、帰ってきてほしいって言ってたじゃないか。たまには帰ってきてやれよ。
まあ気が向いたら。
Shion made it sound like the end of the world could happen before she felt like it. Whoops. I couldn't keep washing the dishes while preoccupied with conversation, so I decided to take my task seriously. Shion neither offered to help nor got in my way. She just quietly watched the water flowing from the faucet.
そうそう、聞きましたよ。昨日の試合、ケイちゃんが大活躍したそうじゃないですか。
Somewhat, yeah.
褒めるなら俺よりもホームランを決めたサトコの方だろう。あいつ運動神経良かったんだな。俺驚いたよ。
サトシ君とは大違いです。きっと運動神経は妹に全部取られちゃったに違いないですね。
Shion smiled as she spoke, her eyes looking at something far away, betraying her reminiscence.
サトシ君？
Oh, are we gonna learn something?
北条サト子の兄です。北条サトシ君。あ、そっか。ケイちゃんって今年引っ越してきたんでしたっけ？
Yeah.
なら会ったことはありませんね。
I was a little surprised that Shion knew about Satoshi.
会ったことはないけど少しは知ってるよ。確か両親が亡くなった後転校したんだよな。
I avoided saying that he ran away from home and used the slightly more vague words that everyone else did.
転校？誰がそんなこと言ったんですか？
I hadn't yet realized that Shion's tone had changed slightly. Oh.
いや、誰って誰だっけかな。誰かに聞いたんだよ。転校したって。
その誰かって誰ですか？誰かに聞いたから言ってるんですよね。
誰に聞いたかなんてよく覚えてないよ。転校だって言うならそれでいいだろ。別に問題があるわけじゃないし。
ありますよ。転校届が出されたわけですか？学校とかに。それを誰かが見た？それとも聞いた？
Around that time, I not only noticed how awfully caught up on this Shion was, but also how startlingly dangerous her eyes had begun to look, yeah.
シオン？
Towering over us and
なん
everything.
だよお前。目がマジだぞ。
With that, Shion seemed to realize the expression she was making. She took a deep breath, pretended to fix her hair, and went back to her composed expression from before.
すみません。
What? The fucking sky changed colors
でも
too.
ケイちゃん、よく知りもしないでサトシ君のこと、転校とか言わないでください。本当にお願いしますね。
I realized I must have said something I shouldn't have. We were trying to be considerate, what the fuck? But I wasn't immediately sure of what I should apologize for. So I just said one safe word for now, sorry.
なんとなく転校と聞かされてそうだと信じてたんだよ。じゃあ実際は違うのか？
It was, of course. Preceded by his parents, he had left his sister and run away. But I'd wanted to try and avoid using the words run away, so I pretended not to know. Upon seeing my flustered reply, Shion realized she was intimidating me and lowered her voice.
すみません。別にケイちゃんを責めてるわけじゃないんです。ちょっと言葉がきつすぎましたね。謝ります。
別に気にしてないよ。
That was a fib. I was actually a little scared even. Was there something wrong with saying that he ran away? Was there some sort of misunderstanding in saying that he transferred? But before I could ask her, she turned on her heel to leave. What the fuck?
Shion.
I wanted there to be something going on here.
じゃあ、頑張ってください。ケイちゃんのプレートで最後みたいですよ。
Come on, tell us. Like she knows. She knows. We know that she knows. She knows all about Satoshi and all this other fucking, you know, Watanagashi bullshit that's gonna happen in a couple days or so. Come on. Get us set up a little early. Her final remark reminded me of the dishes I had so easily forgotten about. So immersed in conversation were we that it got pretty late. I turned the faucet again to get the water flowing faster. I violently scrubbed the plate. When I turned back around, Shion was no longer there. By the time I'd finished washing the plates, most of the other things had been cleaned up. The air had cooled off before I realized it, and as the heat that had stuck with us all day dispersed, a nice breeze started to blow. Oh, alright, we're already done with this one. That's probably like the shortest section of the game that we've come across so far, like out of all the chapters. That was pretty dang short. No tip though.
では皆さん、集合です。
Coach got everyone together to make his closing remarks. And with that, another fun day drew to its close. In the end, Mion ended the game with a magnificent victory. Sotoko and Rika-chan, who had labored so hard to betray me, had fallen into a huge trap afterwards, leaving them frustrated about more than a few things.
人を裏切る奴はいつか自分も裏切られる。いい見本だな。
そんなこと圭一さんに言われたくありませんわ。レナは誰の口車にも乗らなかったからね。2位になれたんだよ。レナはなかなか嘘に引っかからないのです。勘がいいのですよ。
I'm surprised. She seems like she would fall for the first lie to come her way.
それを言ったらケイちゃんでしょ。他人を食い物にしてやろうと欲張って真っ先に自分が食い物に。友達を紹介すれば紹介するほど高収入なんてバカな商法に引っかかるんじゃないよ。
へいへい。
I feel like that's foreshadowing.
努力しますよ。
I don't know why, that just sounds like foreshadowing.
とほほほ。
Even good friends will lay traps mercilessly and betray everyone in sight once they get into a serious enough game. But despite that, once it's all over, they can feel refreshed and laugh together. It reminded me of how we were all such great friends.
それよりも圭一さんの罰ゲームが楽しみでございますわね。でも本当に実現できますの？店長さんもそんなの嫌だって言うと思いましたよ。どうだろう。圭一くんすっごく可愛くなるかも。見てみたいかも。僕もとても楽しみなのですよ。
Oh, I'm not.
転ばせてフキフキをさせますです。
ああ、それはいいね。
なぜここ一番で俺は勝てないんだ。今日は絶対に勝ちたい。この罰ゲームは誰かにやらせてみたいと思うといつも負ける。足りないのか。勝利への信念が足りないのか。うお
敗者の嘆きは蜜の味ですわね。かわいそなのです。圭一くんもこうやって強くなっていくんだね。去年のみーちゃんを見てるみたい。
Mi-chan last year? What, did she always lose and moan about it in the past? How very interesting. I didn't know our undefeated president Mion was once like that. Mion hastily covered Rena's mouth. Everyone watching burst out in laughter. Finally, Rika-chan pulled on Satoko's sleeve.
さて、僕たちはそろそろ行かないといけないのです。あ、お夕飯のお買い物に行かないといけませんわね。
I wanted to keep talking like this forever. But it was getting late. We split up with Satoko and Rika-chan and decided to get on our... Oh, well, fuck me. Get on our way home. Sorry. I don't know why I was slipping up there. Word's scary and hard. Everyone waved to each other and split up for the short time between now and tomorrow.
じゃあ行こう。
We began walking down the tall staircase leading to the shrine grounds. God, I would hate to, like, have a one-day weekend. Like, if I'm going to school 5.5 days out of the week, Saturday's pretty much fucking taken up by school, but I guess you get half of it according to this school schedule. But either way, I guess it's like that in Japan, where it's like 6 days a week and then you got your one day off. I'm sorry, but my mind can't even comprehend the shit I went through here in the US. As the sun started to set, the afternoon's heat began to disappear as though it was never there. Just listening to the chorus of the Higurashi was enough to make me forget about how hot it had been today.
そういえばまだ6月なんだよね。今年は梅雨とか全然ないで、いきなり夏みたいな感じだね。
Now that I thought about it, she was right. It was June, the season of long rain, of whatever the fucking snails. I hadn't seen a real rainy season since transferring here.
週間予報によると、週明けあたりからはもうちょっと梅雨らしい天気になるらしいよ。大雨注意とか言ってたから。綿流しにぶつからなきゃいいんだけど。
そうなんだ。やっぱり梅雨は梅雨らしい方がいいよね。レナは梅雨の長雨って結構好きだよ。
長雨なんて気がめいるだけだって。ねえ、ケイちゃん。
Yes, that is us.
Ah.
I was a little spaced out. I was drinking more of my juice. So I was late in answering Mion. I was thinking back to my conversation with her sister. Oh no, what are we gonna ask? When I said that Satoshi transferred, Shion clearly got angry. She was mad at me for saying something so careless. I mean, it may have been a vague way of skirting around the fact that he ran away from home, but I don't think it was so bad that Shion would need to feel mad about it. I wasn't really satisfied with it. I felt like a child completely ignorant of what he was being scolded for. So my thoughts spilled out of my mouth in a very direct fashion.
サトコに兄貴っていたよな。サトシって名前だっけ？
Uh-oh. As soon as I said the name Satoshi, Rena and Mion both lost their relaxed, comfortable mood and made strange expressions. Should I have avoided talking about this? Yeah. And that's what they made me think. But I've already said it, so that's that. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't interested.
サトシってどうしたんだっけ？引っ越したんだっけ？
That was such a transparent way of putting it. But in my desire to know everything, I feigned ignorance. Mion turned around and looked to Rena for assistance. Rena looked between us and then quietly and softly spoke.
あれ？言わなかったかな？転校しちゃったんだよ。
Well, notice how she uses quotes. When I said those words to Shion, she got upset. So I answered her with the same words Shion had given me.
転校って誰がそんなことを言ったんだよ。
I had only intended to borrow Shion's words, but I said it exactly the same way she had, right down to the thorns in my voice. When I realized what I had done, I immediately tried to soften my remark.
本当に転校したなら転校届とかが学校に提出されるはずだろ。でもそんなの実際には出てないんじゃないのか？
Mion and Rena, their eyes grew wide. They were at a loss for words. I started to feel like I was doing something really bad. I thought they were only hiding the fact that Satoko's older brother ran away out of consideration for her.
別に二人を責めてるわけじゃないんだぜ。ただサトシはどうしたのかなって聞いてみてるだけのつもりで。
I wasn't trying to blame them. The fact that I had to remind them even looked like I was tormenting them with an impossible question. No, maybe I was actually bullying them. Maybe I had lashed out at them in retaliation for Shion getting mad at me. This whole day had been so much fun, but now... Why did I go and say something that made all of that meaningless? I couldn't help but regret my own careless curiosity. And that's enough. Let's drop it now. As I was about to say that, Mion spoke up.
別に隠そうとか騙そうとか、そういうつもりじゃないのを分かってほしいんだけど。
Mion's tone conveyed her genuine awkwardness. They sounded like the excuses of a child who had been presented with evidence of her own mischief.
サトシは、転校したわけじゃないんだよ。
Mion said, resigning herself. But I felt bad for pushing her to say that. So, it's okay, Mion. Let's stop talking about Satoshi. Sorry for teasing you. I wanted to apologize, but right before that...
帰ってこないの。
Yeah? Yeah, he won't. He's dead. We know that. But still kind of weird to just flat out say that. Unlike Mion's stammered reply, Rena was extremely clear and resolute.
帰ってこないって。え？
ある日から家に帰ってこないの。
He won't come back. Well, that was a very strange way of putting it. Normally you would say that he hadn't come back yet. Well, at least I thought you'd only say it like Rena did if he wasn't capable of coming back. Well, it's exactly that, Keiichi. You wouldn't say it like that when talking about someone who ran away from home.
帰ってこないってどういう意味だよ。じゃあサトシはどこへ行ったんだよ。
知らない。
Rena's word choice felt very cold to me. It was so cold that I couldn't muster a response right away.
だからさ、レナの言う通りなんだよ。ある日を境に、サトシは家に帰ってこなかった。
Mio noticed the deadlock between us and hurriedly followed up on what Rena had said.
まあ村中みんなで探したし、警察も方々を探してくれたよ。
Well, doesn't that sound a little bit familiar there?
それで家出じゃないかって話になってさ。
家出じゃないかって話になって。
When running away from home, I thought you were supposed to leave a note or something. So when Satoshi ran away, he would probably have left some kind of letter apologizing to Sadako. That was just kind of what I figured. But from the way Mion was talking, it seemed a little different than just running away from home.
警察の人が調べたらさ、サトシってバイトとかでコツコツとお金を貯めててさ、貯金とかしてたんだけど、それをいなくなった日に全部下ろしてたのが分かったんだよ。
Oh, he actually withdrew the money. Huh.
で、名古屋駅だかでサトシによく似た人が目撃されたとかで。
He withdrew all of his savings to fund his escape from home. Was that it? It seemed consistent enough to me. But before I could say anything...
私はそんなの嘘だと思う。
Oh.
サトシ君は家出なんかじゃない。
Wait, what? Why is it saying declared Rena shortly?
ちょっと待てよ。転校したわけでもなく、引っ越したわけでもなく、それで家出したわけでもないなら、一体サトシはどうして？
やめなよ、レナ。
Mion whispered to her. No, I like this side of Rena. It's scary, but like after going through chapter 2, she's blunt to a good point. She's a good person, I honestly believe, but like that's if you know the truth of things. Like you gotta be real with her, and she'll be real with you. And if you don't beat around the bush, I think that's for the best as well. If you show trust in her, she'll show that trust in you. Sorry, I'm choking up thinking about how deadly she could be. Rena, however, continued without interruption. And then she said this. Don't change the eyes, please. Oh, okay.
お社様のたたりだもの。
たたり?
What episode number is this? We're learning about this pretty early. Well, just early in general. Screw the episode number. It took some time before I understood what Rena meant by that. Mion clicked her tongue and shook her head a little.
サトシ君は
Oh,
消える
fuck
前
me.
に
God
私に教
damn
え
it.
てくれた。
Ah, okay, I don't trust Rena anymore.
誰かに見張られている。後をつけられている。家の中
I
にまで
was
ついてくる。
staring at Mion this whole time. So when I looked to the right, that kind of spooked me.
寝るとき、枕元に立って見下ろしてるって 教えてくれた。
やめなよレナ。
それは間違いなくお社様のたたりの前兆。きっとサトシ君は心のどこかでひなみ沢を捨てて逃げ出そうという気持ちがあったんだと思う。それをお社様は許さなかった。
だからやめなって。
お社様はひなみ沢の守り神様。ひなみ沢を捨てて逃げ出そうとする人を絶対に許さない。私はそれを謝った。でもサトシ君はきっと謝らなかった。だから、お社様のたたりに会ってしまったに違いないの。
お社様のたたりだって？
Let me rephrase some of the things that I've been saying, like in these past few minutes. So maybe Rena worked with us so much in Chapter 2 because we were apologetic. We knew what we did wrong, and she was, like, totally cool with that. And you know, again, trust in her, trust in us, blah, 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 love, whatever it may be. But in this case, she's kind of pissed because she's 100% on board with Oyashiro-sama's wiener, and Satoshi wasn't really like that, and he abandoned the village. Completely opposite of kind of what went down with Keiichi in Chapter 2. But, you know, Keiichi being completely untrustworthy with everybody, like, did not trust anybody after the shit he learned about in Chapter 1, definitely got on Rena's bad list, and there was all that scary shit. I hadn't intended to repeat it, but the words came out of my mouth anyway. Oyashiro-sama's curse.
警察が家出だって決めつけたって。信じない、信じない。私は絶対に信じない。そんなのたたりだと認めたくない村の偉い人たちが決めただけの嘘っぱち。お社様のたたりは信じようと信じまいと確かに。
Oh. Mion struck Rena in the head. And not in a joking way either.
いい加減にしろって言ってるでしょ。恩和の私でも島には怒るよ。
Pushing her to her limits. Actually, there was plenty of displeasure and anger in Mion's face at that moment. For a few moments after being hit, Rena looked astonished. Perhaps the voices of the Higurashi calmed her frantic mind, because after a little while she regained her original calm expression. Please change the eyes back. Tired of seeing those. We arrived at the place we always split up with Mion. No one said a word until we got there. The voices of the Higurashi just tortured our ears with their buzzing. We'd always split up with Mion here, leaving just Rena and me.
あのさ、ケイちゃん、前に漫画化すって約束したじゃない？よかったら寄ってく？
Huh? She promised that. However, I quickly realized it was a convenient way of saying she wanted to talk to me alone.
あ、そうなんだ。じゃあ、レナは先に帰ってるね。
Damn, my dogs don't like that. Maybe she realized it and maybe she didn't. Thankfully, Rena quickly said she'd go home before us.
じゃあね、レナ。また明日。
うん。また明日ね。ケイチくんもあまりお邪魔しすぎないようにね。もう夕方だから。
ちょっと本を借りに寄るだけだよ。じゃあな。
Considering the fun day we had, it was a very insipid, lonely parting.
さっきの、あまり気にしないでね。
After a little while, Mion finally spoke. Quite some time had passed since splitting up with Rena.
いや、別に。俺の方が悪かったと思う。
サトシの話は、別に隠してたわけじゃないんだよ。
Yeah, I mean, I believe you.
あまり触れない方がいい話だからさ。
Yeah, you know what's really weird is that we've learned about, all the curse shit. Like, it would get mentioned to us by individuals outside of the club. And now we're learning about this from individuals in the club from the get-go. I wonder how that's going to twist what Keiichi's going to, you know, believe and stick with going forward. His trust relied or stayed on the side of his club members in Chapter 2, not so much in Chapter 1. Where's it going to lie in Chapter 3? That's what I want to know. At this point, I understood exactly what she meant by that. Judging by our odd interactions with Rena, I understood so well it hurt that I shouldn't ever talk about it again. Actually, if that's the case, then with Shion too. No, this is a bigger problem. Talking about it in the first place had been indiscreet. I shouldn't have been interested in it at all. Good old curiosity. But that's why I really had to think about it. About why everyone got so irritated. Idiot, stop this, Keiichi Maibara. By the time I tried to warn myself, I had accidentally spoken already.
もう二度と聞かないからさ、正直なところを教えてくれないか。一体、サトシに何があったんだ。家で、なんだろう。
For a long time, Mion remained silent, but finally unable to endure it any longer, she began to speak timidly.
お社様のたたりの話は聞いたことある？
Well, Mion, I actually did like 5 minutes ago when Rena had her weird eye shit going on. So, yeah, I have heard about it. Only slightly. I guess we'll get our lesson on Oyashiro-sama's curse and all that in the next episode. As is tradition, we gotta learn about it at some point. And I feel like we're learning about it really early on. I could be wrong. I am trying to do a little longer on the episodes here. So the episode count's obviously going to be a little different than chapter 1 and 2. I'm never consistent. But it does feel early nonetheless. But I'm excited. I'm excited now. We're finally getting somewhere and it feels so early too. We're finally learning about this shit. Which means things can only hit the fan even quicker now, right? Because after we learn about this shit, everything just goes south. Just immediately after. So I feel like we're already really getting into the thick of things. I'm excited, and I hope you guys are too. Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.